So to get a sense of it though, like how big is MMA in New Zealand now? Like obviously it's the fastest growing sport globally. Obviously it, as I said, like here it's weird. Like here when the UFC comes to town, obviously it sells out. But sometimes some of these local ones, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, Eternal's done a good job. The one that I went down to in Melbourne, that was pretty much, but it was also the weekend of the UFC, so I don't know if that helped, like having the 2 nights together or whatever. But like, you know, as I said, like I've read articles that Izzy has now become, I guess, a bigger icon than the All Blacks, which I find hard to believe. You know, and I heard someone else say to me that, yes, he is bigger internationally than the All Blacks, but in New Zealand, the All Blacks are still number one supreme. How big is it now?
Well, here's the interesting thing, Dennis. I read this just the other day. Like, we're going to have the first Bladdersloe test this weekend in Wellington, and it's been 400 days since the All Blacks have played in New Zealand. Well, 400 days since they scored the last try in New Zealand. So, in that time, you know, a lot's happened. You know, it was a year ago, just the other day, that Israel beat Robert Whittaker in Melbourne on that massive show. And he's defended the title twice since then.
During COVID?
Yeah, that's absolutely, you know. So, like, there's no... if you want to watch live sport, that's the sport to watch, and it's on every weekend. And over here in New Zealand, it's free. It's on Sky every weekend, and once a month you have to pay for it on your pay-per-view. So, and they have a massive card. So, the profile that, like I say, that Auckland show that I went to in earlier this year was just an absolute fantastic show. Brad Riddell on it, and you know, Dan Hooker fought Paul Felder. It was just a fantastic show. Like, apart from the fact that it was in New Zealand, it was a bloody good card, and it delivered. So, you know, like, the profile of the sport here is great. All we need to do is have more shows. It's as simple as that, and we just know how hard it is to, well, you have an idea of how hard it is to promote, mate. It takes a lot of conviction. It takes a lot of money, and you know, it costs a lot of money. You don't make money on it, you know. But what else would you do with your time?
But I mean, that's the other reason why I keep, like, every time I talk to someone that's got anything to do with Bellator, I keep, like, saying, get into Scott's ear. Like, because I do, as I said, like, when UFC come, we have no problem selling those out. And I just think, you know, when you have that kind of backing, and I just feel like if Bellator were to come to Australia as well, I think they wouldn't have a problem selling out. I think their show's big enough to do that. And I just feel like once those kind of shows come in more often, because that's the thing, like, I think as well, and I'm not trying to squash the local shows, but I feel that when you have this one major show come once a year, you know, it's kind of like, but where if it becomes a more regular thing, then I think it'll also build the local show as well.
Look, I think, and I'm only guessing here. It's just that the profile of Australasian MMA is so high at the moment. Look, I know Jamie's going to fight over on the island, and Jimmy's heading over there too, Jimmy Crute, and just the way that the 4 fighters from CKB did on Fight Island not long ago.
You had Josh on the weekend.
Look, it's you know, the possibility that they come to New Zealand more than every 3 years could really be a big factor. And there's obviously, you do usually 2, possibly 3 shows in Australia a year, sort of thing. So you're looking at maybe 4 in the area or something like that, you know, but you think that show in Melbourne a year ago, that was the biggest crowd that they ever had. And so that, you know, they know how big the support is down this area, and they've got fighters to fill the cards. They really have. There's some very, very good fighters down here, and they'll only be getting better with the profile that will say CKB is doing, you know, and with shows that they've just done in Auckland at Shuriken, and the show that we're about to do here in Dunedin, the XFC show. So it's just great for the sport. It really is. And these fighters need this platform to be seen, to be able to get looked at for higher honours, and especially the way the magnifying glass will be put on this area now with what CKB are doing, the profile of the sport. They'll be looking for other fighters. They really will be. It's a great opportunity.
But I also, as I say, like I think per capita, we're unbelievable at the moment. Like you know, we got Arlene fighting for the title. She flew out yesterday. She's going to fight Chris Cyborg. We got Megan Anderson fighting for a title. We have Izzy. We had Robert. We have Alex Volkanovski. Like we have when you look at, and especially when you look at our population size. Like I think we're one of the better ones right now, right? Like we're literally in good hands.